Hello everybody and welcome along once again to another edition of the Real White Ball. Remember when we used to do a little bit about the news, and I suppose if we were still doing that we'd be talking about this alarmingly high COVID figures that seem to be causing major issues now for the health service. But I think maybe one of the headlines, the new restrictions that are coming in tonight, is it tonight, yeah? Or maybe last night, that pubs and restaurants will have to close at 12 o'clock, and this might be an opportunity to, I suppose, raise the profile, if you wish, of the Angelus, that all of these clubs that opened are now going to open at 6, that they'd start off their proceedings with that particular, whether you like to call it religious activity or not. But anyway, we'll wait and see whether that does happen anywhere. To the action, as we mentioned before, there are 16 county championships in Cork. That means 16 county adult finals, and these finals are, events that kind of take on lives of their own. They're just not about the participants inside the white lines. They are huge occasions for the participating clubs to show their wares, if you wish, to raise awareness of their clubs within their community and their people. And, I think appearing county finals can serve as, if you like, kind of encouragement and inspiration for the future players coming along. So this weekend, well, first of all, last weekend, the first final of the 16 was played, and what a great occasion. That was for the Junior B footballers of Randlow from Ballinaccarriga in West Cork, just outside Dunmanway, who defeated Goleen. They were kind of well over them now and all that, but regardless of that, that was a great occasion for them. By the way, that club, no, they'll never rise to the heights of Premier Senior or anything like that. It's a small place. But are they doing a brilliant job for their community? Of course they are. And by the way, Randlow have still two more B finals to play, so we may talk about them again. Anyway, we have 5 finals this weekend, my apologies, and of course the big one is the Premier Senior hurling final in Portageven Sunday at 3 o'clock. Between Glen Rovers, 27 times they've won the title. The last time was, I think, 2016, whereas Middleton have won it 7 times. Their last victory was 2013. And, when Glen get to a county final, they're nearly successful. But I think on this occasion, Middleton's form this season have shown that there's something about them. They've improved greatly from last season. I know that probably wasn't difficult. They were a bit disappointed not qualifying. Ben O'Connor coaching with them, and it's a big day for Ben O'Connor, as it is for anybody select their coach, backroom staff. But for Ben, who started his coaching career, well, I'm not too sure where he started it, but his work with Charleville in particular was noteworthy. So this is a big time for him, and it's a big day for both of them. So I just think that Middleton, might just simply shade it. Patrick Horgan, of course, the main man. With Glen Rovers, the main man in the country in terms of hurling, but they have other outstanding players, as you well know. Most of them are kind of well known at this stage. Cathal Hickey, their goalkeeper, is a guy that has been quietly impressive. A lot of their matches, the Cathal would make that one outstanding save that would, if you like, turn the match or save the match from being turned. And then you've Stephen MacDonald, who played for years for Cork as a defender. Simon Kennefick in the forwards. Then you have Rob Downey, and Dean Brosnan has given them unbelievable service. Middleton, then, looking through them, I'm sure that the majority of their players have lined up for various Cork teams at different age groups over the past number of years. Timmy O'Connell at centre back, Sean O'Leary Hayes, who maybe take you Patrick Horgan. You've Paul Hockney and Sam Quirk, who usually kind of operate around midfield, and of course the main forward is Conor Lehan, and he was 2 when they won it back in 2017. I think he got 2013, got 210 that day. And then you've Conor Basang and Luke O'Farrell. So yes, throws in the 3 o'clock, we'll go for Middleton that one. In the other game then, the senior hurling at 1 o'clock, it's a big one again, of course, Father O'Neill's, who I was a bit surprised at because of the injuries to Declan Dalton and Gerald Merrick that they got over Bride Rovers. They did in style. Kevin O'Sullivan getting something like 13 points for them. Jason Hankford is a big player, so too is Billy Dunn and Sean O'Connor and Mark O'Keefe. And of course, for Ken Tork, you have the McLaughlin brothers, you have Aidan Walsh and his 4 or 5 cousins that have come on the scene and made a big difference. But of course, can Cork then have to deal with football as well? In maybe a week's time, they'll be playing the Premier Intermediate Football Final against their neighbours Newmarket. And I think it's great that the clubs are doing dual activity, by the way. That's the way I think it should be, proper GA club. And then I know you've 1 or 2 of these so-called dual clubs who will be trying to run one out of town at the preference of the other. But Kenturk, they do their best to keep them going. Maybe it prevents them from winning a multitude of titles. Well, maybe, and that's all. So I suppose Father O'Neill's will get the slight nod because of that. In the intermediate here hurling, then we've Castlemartyr versus Castlelyons. That game goes on Saturday evening in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. And for Castlemartyr on the 27th of August, when they woke up that morning, they were a junior club. They defeated Russell Rovers. Here they are in their second county final in that short period of time. They've got Kieran Joyce, a lot, spoken about this young man as a future Cork maybe centre back. The Lawton brothers, Joe Stack and Mikey Kelly, their free taker. SARS, they are without doubt the best of the second teams in Cork, and they've been proving that over the past few years. Ono Sullivan is, and like a lot of them would have played Premier at the underage grades. Ono Sullivan, Tygo Murphy, where would you be going without an Og Murphy on a SARS team, and Shane O'Driscoll and James O'Leary. But I think that maybe this would be Castlemartyr's day again. My God, wouldn't that be some achievement for them? Then you have the lower grade intermediate hurling, and this is probably the most important final will be played in Cork this year, because the winners are sure that they are not going to be going back to junior next season. This is the group where any team that's in it after the final is played next year is going to junior. So it's a big one. And Liscool, imagine, and they, like Castlemartyr, won the county junior championship on the 7th of August against Harbour Rovers. And here they are playing Kilbrittain from West Cork. I think Kilbrittain are going to be the team maybe that will pull this one out of the fire. Both clubs have been outstanding, unbeaten in the group games and in their knockout games when they got to the semi-final. So from that point of view, there's very little to separate them. I just think that maybe Kilbrittain are a slight bit more experienced. They have Ross Cashman, of course, Morris Sexton, Tom Harrington, and Conor Yustanowski. By the way, he is not their outside player. They have one of them as well, a guy called Joshua Donovan. Check him. He's from another neighbouring area, but has always played with Kilbrittain club. And a good player he is too. And then you've James Hurley, who's a great defender for them. So they've Tom Harrington. They've a lot of good players, but so too have this school. John Cronin would probably be their best player. Liam O'Shea, who's been outstanding in terms of scoring. A fella called John Cashman and James O'Driscoll. So from that point of view, and that game goes on Saturday in Páirc Uí Chaoimh at 5 o'clock. So they are the 2 Saturday games at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. For what it was, so we think that the trophy will be travelling to Kilbrittain. Of course, Jamie Wall is their high-profile local coach and has a lot of experience in terms of coaching himself. So that could be, his input there. Well, like the input of every coach is vital, but he just might get them over the line in that. And then, of course, you have the junior A hurling. That is on Saturday in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. And in the back of my mind, I'm saying, is the team better off to lose this one? And you might say, where are you going, my friend? Well, the winners of it are going to be playing in the intermediate, this famous lower grade intermediate hurling next season. So if they are, and if they don't win that, they'll be back down junior. Or maybe the team that will lose it could win next year's junior championship and go straight up. I know I'm confused you a bit about that. But anyway, that's only, it'll have nothing to do. The 2 teams are there, will be out to win, and that's Drumtariff versus Ballygiblin. Drumtariff are the more experienced side, and for that reason I think they'll be the team that will get over the line on this occasion. They were beaten in last year's semi-final by this school. You know, the Michael O'Brien, Jack Murphy, these are good footballers as well, by the way. The Howard brothers, and of course Conor O'Callaghan, who captained the Cork under 20 team to win the 2020 All-Ireland final. And he's a big influence on them. They are, you know, they've done great work down through the past number of years with this age group, if you like. Then you have, there's 3 guys that play for them from Boherbue. And remember now, Boherbue in the junior football final. So these fellas will definitely play in 3 county finals. 3 county junior finals in 2021. And that has to be a unique record. You've Kevin Cremin, Mikey O'Gorman and Jerry O'Sullivan. They're Boherbue footballers. They play hurling with Drumtariff. And they're obviously have qualified for the junior football final. Their opponents, Ballygiblin, have some talented players as well. Some of these guys play football with Mitchelstown, and they too could play 3 county finals, because remember, Mitchelstown was beaten by Rockchapel, and they're still in the football semi-final against Kilshannig. You have Darragh O'Flynn, a Cork under 20 player and a series operator. He's to Mark Keane, who you know one heard about, Sean O'Sullivan, Dean Barring here in Dublin. All of the Ballygiblin guys are either present or past pupils of Mitchelstown CBS, which means they would have come under the influence of one of the outstanding characters stuck in second level schools, a gentleman called Willie Duggan, who was from Kildare. Oh my God, has he done some work for the promotion of Gaelic games in that school. And all on that, he is one interesting, humorous and entertaining guy. And he doesn't know anything that about himself. So anyway, that's beside the point. I think that though, I just think that maybe Drumtariff will get over the line. The last final then, the 5th one, is the Junior B Divisional. This is where every Junior B team can play in it, play in the divisions for. So the 2 teams that have got the final are Belgooly, who I think will win it, against Newtown Shandam, and that game goes on Saturday at 3 o'clock in Mallow. And the final game that we need to talk about is the Premier Intermediate here, hurling, and that is between Ballinhassig, the mighty Jew club now, our footballers in the junior final, Ballinhassig versus Castlelyons, who are the favourites, and well they should be. Really good team, but Ballinhassig, there's something about them this season in hurling and football. You nearly be gone home for an hour before you'd say these fellas are beaten. And they're operating for the first time, well, I'm not saying the first time in their life, but probably first time serious in their life, that they're running, hurling and football together. And it seems to be working for them, so that's going to be a game on Saturday in Park Arena at a game that goes on after the junior final at 3 o'clock. Ladies football, Cork clubs now are moving to the Munster campaign, and there's 3 Munster quarter-finals on. And the intermediate game is on Saturday, and that sees Valley Rovers travel up to the Burden in Clare to take on the Burden Gales in Michael Cusick GA Club. That goes on at 2:30 on Saturday. The other 2 games then are on Sunday in Mallow. At 2 o'clock you have the junior between Castlehaven, and they take on St Anne's from Waterford. And Castlehaven, who defeated Donny's last week in that incredible shootout. Now I know you talk about penalty shootouts. I'm not too sure about the way they finish ladies football. They take 20-30 metre frees. And they took 5 each, and they were still level. And then it goes to sudden death. And it kept going until I think it was the 11th. The 11th one, yes. And Castlehaven had missed it. The Donnies scored it. They would have gone over the bar. No, they did score it. But the girl taking the free was adjudged to have moved inside the 30 metre line. That's the rule. Called back. So then the Castlehaven girl took the 20s, so it was the 11th. She took the 11th and she put it over the bar, and the Donnies player then missed. But there was very few of them converted. But I mean, it was incredibly exciting. But I'm not too sure that 30 metre freeze for ladies football, this is junior ladies football, suitable for that, like. And in actual fact, maybe could they have played it maybe Tuesday night. I know that here's the Munster campaign, but yeah, that's history. And The seniors quarter-final then in Mallow as well, but is Mourne Abbey versus the Banner Ladies. That's at 4 o'clock. I think all three Cork teams will win, should win. It would be a major surprise, to be honest with you, if they didn't. Like, Cork clubs do incredibly well in these competitions, so I'd expect that to continue. Moving on to the world of soccer, and after the real feel-good fact that they followed the two performances against Portugal and the 3-0 win over Luxembourg, where the Viva Stadium was absolutely for the Portugal game, and then when they travelled to Switzerland, quite a number of players, quite a number of supporters went, and of course Stephen Kenny, his style of football and the way the team are playing, that's the way it is going to be, despite the fact that some are arguing about, and they're only arguing about the when rather than if, when he gets another contract. So it's back to activity which entertains some of us, that happens across the other side of the pond, and that's the Premier League, and it recommences on Saturday. Chelsea, who are in top place, play Leicester City. We'll be expected that, of course. We've Aston Villa now with their new manager. They fired Dean Smith and Stephen Gerrard. Those of you who are Liverpool supporters will know who this guy is. Managing Rangers for a while, so he's now with on and managing Aston Villa. So it's a big match for him getting off. They play Brighton. And then you have Dean Smith. Norwich fired their manager around the same time, so Dean just simply took off the Aston Villa jacket and put on a Norwich one. He's in charge of them for their first game against Southampton. Manchester United, will Ollie ever be forced to take off the jacket? Well, if they're beaten this weekend by Watford, he'll find it hard to hold on to, I would imagine. And the big game, though, is Arsenal versus Liverpool. Now, it's on an Anfield, so that means Liverpool are going to win it. I think the last time that Arsenal won there was about 9 years ago. And every time they've gone up there since, they've been got a right hawking. And this Arsenal team, this season, at the start, I think they lost 3 games, and it was looking, oh my God, those Arsenal supporters were crazy. The grief, they knew what the manager should do and shouldn't do. And all of a sudden, these guys are after creeping up to 5th position. They're just 2 points behind Liverpool. It's a while since they lost a match. I reckon if the league started maybe in the 4th match, Arsenal would actually be top of the league. So it's going to be an interesting one. And a lot of people will become Arsenal supporters if just for that day alone. Then moving on to rugby, and of course after the massive win, like the autumn internationals are finishing now this Sunday, and after, you remember they beat the Brave Blossoms from Japan 65. Then it was the All Blacks, and like what a finish to that game, winning 29-3 and 29-20. My apologies, and that's the 3rd time now they've beaten the All Blacks. And I know that some people say, look, it's mid-season, it's kind of mid-championship, that they haven't beat them in the big ones, but prior to that, like, there was no such thing as an Irish team beating All Blacks in the half. They've beaten them now, I said 18 in 2021. So against Argentina, a couple of players, Johnny Sexton is injured, so that means that Joey Carberry gets his chance now, because it's time for him. Like, the number 10 jersey in rugby is probably the most, I'm not saying it's the most important, obviously that's wrong, but it's kind of the most symbolic one. It's a bit more kind of maybe more valued. That position is vital to the workings of the team, and Joey Carberry gets his chance. And it looks like as well that Conor Murray will be in for Jameson Gibson Park. He got injured. So finally, we haven't mentioned boxing in this section in the past, but it's a big weekend for a Donegal boxer called Jason Quigley. He takes on a fella called Demetrius and Randy. This will be this guy's 6th time defending the lightweight WBO belt. There's so many belts in boxing, so many organisations, and look, there are so many things about the sport. But like, Irish boxers have represented this country well, and it is a tough, cruel, hard sport. And this is a big opportunity for this 30-year-old Donegal man. So it's on in New Hampshire on this Friday night. I think it's on about 12 o'clock. This guy will be the favourite. Interestingly, I think when the contract was written, he did not write into it the need for a refight. Does that show maybe that he's seriously confident? I don't know. But anyway, for those who are into boxing, you can be keeping an eye out for that one and wish the Belly Buffet man all the best. So until we meet again, take care and thanks for tuning this way.